Welcome to the July 2022 Star Wars Canon Update. Last month we got a new book and 8 new comic issues, so let's dive in. The new book in July was Padawan by KIERSTEN White. It was a smaller story about Obi-Wan going on his first mission without Qui-Gon in an act of rebellion. It just came out, so I won't go into any plot details, but I liked it. It goes against a lot of what I would say I normally want out of my ideal Star Wars books. It's a smaller, more self-contained story that mostly takes place on just one planet. In the grand scheme of things, the stakes are pretty small, but White writes it all so well that everything feels big and important to Kenobi, and I really enjoyed the lessons of the book. Even though they were meant to resonate with young adults, I still felt the impact of them. You can see my full review in the cards, and if you're interested in grabbing the audiobook for free, you can by following the link in the description or by visiting www.audibletrial.com/StarWarsExplained. Jumping into comics, Star Wars issue 25 was a special one. It's Charles Soule's 100th Star Wars script, so to celebrate that achievement he wrote 4 short stories revisiting some of his previous series. The first about Obi-Wan and Anakin was my favorite as they explored why the lightsaber is the weapon of a Jedi and is rarely embellished. The second was about Vader and Palpatine and explored the chosen weapon of the Sith, the dark side of the Force itself. The third was about Kylo Ren seeking out the ghost of Luke Skywalker before Episode 9, and the fourth was a eulogy for Snap Wexley taking place immediately after the events of The Rise of Skywalker. It was a fun, celebratory issue, but the first 2 were far and away the best for me. Darth Vader issue 25 was okay. Vader is still chasing after this Imperial governor who defected to Crimson Dawn. She's working on some sort of weapon or piece of technology that can create terrifying sandstorms, Vader's greatest weakness. This arc has been completely up and down, and unfortunately this latest issue just didn't do much for me. I like having Sabe around again, but everything is more interesting when she and Vader are working together. Dr. APHRA issue 22 continued to rock. This issue was weird and trippy as APHRA tends to be, going all the way back to the first issue in Kieran Gillen's run. The Spark Eternal, which has infested APHRA's mind, is searching through her memories to find more artifacts and technology it can use to grow in power. And 2 of those pieces of tech it's after are 000 and BT-1, the murderous droids we haven't seen in a long time, and are apparently on Crimson Dawn's flagship, the Vermilion. This series feels like it's coming full circle so well to the point I'm afraid it's going to end soon. I hope that's not the case because I am still loving it so much. Bounty Hunters issue 25 was one of my favorite issues of the entire series. I haven't been super into the story for a while, but man, pitting all the bounty hunters against the Knights of Ren is such a good idea. The one-upsmanship on display was funny, it was action-packed, just watching all these larger-than-life characters fight was a blast, and I would welcome more of it. Han Solo and Chewbaica issue 4 continued to be a fun ride. Black Chrysanthemum kidnaps Han, but Chewie and Han's possible father track them down. A lot of this issue is just dedicated to art of Chewie and Chrysanthemum fighting, which is neat and all. It just doesn't leave a lot of room for more story development. But during their escape, it seems like Han's father stole the Falcon. I have a feeling that little cliffhanger will be resolved quickly in the next issue as just a fake out, or at least that's what I'm hoping, because I've started to like the older guy. Obi-Wan issue 3 was probably my favorite of the bunch so far. The past 2 issues, while good, felt just like standalone stories about Kenobi that he was writing down for some reason. But the third started to give the whole series some shape, as Obi-Wan wondered what the role of a Jedi during wartime should be. That's a great question, and not one with an easy answer. I think the next issue is going to continue those thoughts, and I'm getting more of a sense of why Obi-Wan is writing these stories down in his journal. HALCYON Legacy issue 4 was also probably my favorite of the bunch so far. It was a small heist story involving Maz Kanata, Hondo Ohnaka, and Lando Calrissian. And let's face it, that's a fun team-up. I still don't super care about the history of the ship or the present-day story, but the antics of the characters in this issue's flashback made it all more enjoyable than the previous 3. And finally, I'll mention the first issue of the Mandalorian comic adaptation. It was fine, it's an adaptation, and it's telling the first story of the first episode of The Mandalorian, just faster. So far, it hasn't introduced anything new, so I'm not really into it, and I'm also not sure I'll continue covering it in the Canon Update. For Story of the Month, I'll go with Padawan by KIERSTEN White, but Dr. APHRA 22 is a close second. July was kinda slow, and August is about the same. We were supposed to get Andor right at the end of the month, but that's been moved to September. But we've still got the new novel, The Princess and the Scoundrel, on the way, and 9 new comic issues. The Canon update will return on September 1st or so to cover all those new stories. Until then, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.